Ghost Tales.
Hey girlies and ghoulies, and welcome to the Girly Ghost Tales podcast.
We're your hosts for the evening. I'm Leah.
And I'm Amber.
And this is a supernatural podcast about ghost stories, ghost hunting, conspiracies, witchcraft, haunted objects, places, even people, and everything in between with a little bit of girl talk mixed in.
What more could you ask for? Tonight we have some bone-chilling, spine-tingling tales and tropes for you to immerse yourselves in. This week's episode is all about Mandela effects and glitch in the matrix.
So sit back, grab some popcorn, get comfy, and
to the grave we go. So this week I did the Mandela Effect. The Mandela Effect is one of the most intriguing psychological and cultural phenomenons of the internet age. Named after the surprising collective misremembering of a major historical event, it has come to represent a wider pattern of strange false memories shared by thousands, sometimes millions of people. Whether it's misquoted movie lines or logo designs that used to look different, the Mandela Effect leaves us with one unsettling question. What if reality isn't as stable as we think it is? What is the Mandela Effect? The term Mandela Effect was coined by Fiona Broome, a paranormal researcher who discovered that she and countless others believed Nelson Mandela had died in a South African prison in 1980. In reality, Mandela was released in 1990 and went on to become South Africa's president in 1994, eventually passing away in 2013. The shock Broome experienced at learning the truth led her to explore other widely held false memories. Soon she realized she wasn't alone. Across forums, message boards, and later social media, thousands of people began sharing eerie examples of collective misremembering. So, a few famous examples. We've got Bernstein versus Bernstein Bears. So, the false memory, most people remember the children's book series as Bernstein. The reality is it's Bernstein. But I have also seen people who have books that say Bernstein and others that say Bernstein.
Yeah, I remember it as Berenstein.
Yeah.
For sure. I feel like it's weird to see it written the other way.
Yeah, I know. It does look weird. Stain. This doesn't sound right.
No.
And then we've got Looney Tunes, Tunes spelled Tunes versus Looney Tunes Toons. So many recall the cartoon being spelled Toons.
That's how I remember it too.
Yeah, me too. But it's spelled Tunes, referring to music, not cartoons, which is weird, I feel like. Because it's not like there's
a
lot
cartoon.
Yeah, and there's not like
a lot of music.
Yeah.
It's not like a musical show.
Yeah, that one's weird
to me. I for sure remember it being Toons. Like, I remember watching it, like, when I was younger, like, eating cereal in the morning and watching it, and I always remember, like, seeing Toons.
Yeah, and that just makes the most sense. And then there's Febreze, F-R-B-R-E-Z-E versus F-E-B-R-E-E-Z-E. So the false memory is people remember it with two E's when it's only spelled with one, which I think I only remember it's spelled with one. Although, if I saw it on the can, it might be different, but like looking at it written on my iPad, it looks like it's wrong, so I don't know.
I always thought it had two E's in it too.
Yeah. It just looks weird with like typed out on here.
Yeah.
But I think if I saw it on the can, I would be like, oh yeah. Yeah. And then there's Oscar Mayer versus Oscar Mayer. Mayer spelled M-A-Y-E-R or M-E-Y-E-R. People remembered it spelled M-E-Y-E-R, but it's actually M-A-Y-E-R.
I remember it E-Y-E-R. Don't
they spell that in this song? I know they spell baloney, but I thought they also spelled.
I think so.
That's weird.
That is weird.
No idea.
I know. I feel like everyone that I remember, I remember how it apparently isn't.
Yes, yeah. And then we've got the Monopoly Man in the monocle. Many remember the Monopoly Man wearing a monocle, but apparently he's never worn one.
I feel like he has.
Yeah. My other thing is, and I don't know if maybe it's just like an older version of Monopoly, I always remember there being a money bag piece. because that was
There
my favorite.
wasn't?
I have never seen a newer game of Monopoly that has that piece in it.
What?
Yeah, like I feel like any game that I play, I haven't played Monopoly in forever, but I feel like they
I
never have it.
definitely remember that too.
Yeah, because that was always my favorite. I always wanted that one.
What?
But I mean, that wasn't anything that I found on
Yeah.
it, but that's just what I always think of
I want to
when I
go
play
look at
Monopoly.
my. I'm gonna have my mom look in the
Yeah.
box at her house and see if there is one.
And then there's Mirror, Mirror on the Wall from Snow White. False memory, most people quote the Snow White line as Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, but in reality, the actual line is Magic Mirror on the Wall. And then I saw on Reddit, there was somebody that posted on there. The story here, I bought a whole bunch of old Disney cartoon films on VHS from Goodwill. The Snow White tape was sealed, had all this promo stuff inside the case when I opened it. All the promo stuff was cool to see. It's from 1994. There are no websites in the promo materials. It also had a few return postage paid offers too. One piece in particular is from Snow White. In it, it quotes the film Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. This product was completely put out by Disney, no third parties. Because of that, they wouldn't have made the mistake like that in the promo. Remember, this came out in 1994, no internet, no AI. Every piece of material included with the VHS would have been checked and edited by a real person. It would have never gotten approved to go to print with a mistake quote from the film, especially one as iconic as Mirror Mirror. So yeah, there's a picture. It says Mirror Mirror on the Wall. Who has the fairest videos of them all? The answer lies within. It's just like a little.
Oh.
And then
So that's the one that they got from Goodwill? That's what it
yeah,
says on it?
yeah. But in the actual movie, it supposedly says Magic Mirror on the Wall. But then some of the comments, somebody had said in Sweden she says Mirror Mirror. And then somebody said in Germany, where the story originates, she also says Mirror Mirror.
Why would they even be different? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. Well, then somebody said, right, the line was always Mirror Mirror in English too, before Disney came along and changed it.
and why would they change it if that's how it was?
Yeah, I don't know. And then somebody said, the Mandela Effect is easily explained. We think of it as Mirror Mirror on the Wall, as that's what it is when you read the fairy tale version, including the Brothers Grimm version. Disney decided to go with Magic Mirror, but it was always Mirror Mirror in most other versions people will have heard.
But I've never even watched anything or read anything other than watching that movie, and
Yeah,
that's how I remember it, is saying
yeah,
mirror, mirror.
yeah. So that's like a hard one, I feel like,
It's hard when
to
there's like
debunk.
different
Yeah,
versions of it too.
yeah,
But also, I feel like with the Mandela effect, like when people remember stuff differently, I feel like nobody can ever find, like if they found that tape, I feel like it wouldn't say mirror mirror on it, even
yeah,
if like I feel like it's like a shift in whatever
yeah,
reality you're in.
yeah. I agree. It's just so weird because yeah, like you said, I've only ever seen the Disney movie,
Yeah, I
and
didn't
I
like read books about it or
yeah,
anything.
and I always remembered it saying Mirror Mirror.
Yeah, me
But then I've
too.
seen like videos of people recording the movie and it says Magic Mirror. I haven't
Mhm.
rewatched it in a very long time.
Yeah, I want to go play. I have my VHS tape of that movie from like when
Oh,
I was a kid. I want to like put it on when I get home and see what
yeah,
it says. It's probably going to say Magic Mirror, but I remember it being Mirror Mirror.
yeah.
Like for sure.
I definitely do too. So I don't know.
It's so weird too how like half of the people remember it one way and half remember it another way.
Yeah, I feel like that is one of them where almost everybody remembers it being Mirror
Mhm.
Mirror. This one too, kind of the same thing. The Luke, I am your father. So apparently, the false memory is in Star Wars. People will call Darth Vader saying, Luke, I am your father. But in reality, the line is actually, No, I am your father.
I've never like watched Star Wars, but I feel like everybody in the world has only ever said, "Luke, I am your father."
Yeah, it's like so famously said. Any like show that ever
Yeah.
does like Family Guy.
And like people like kids in my class used to like talk into like the fan and say
Yeah,
that. Like they
yeah,
would say like, "Luke, I am your father."
That's such a weird one to me.
I need to ask Jake.
Yeah.
Because he watches Star Wars.
Yeah, I've maybe seen like parts of it here and there,
Yeah.
but I've never watched them fully.
I don't want to either.
Yeah, there's just so many.
Mm-hmm.
And they're so long.
Mm-hmm.
But I say that, but I also love Harry Potter.
I was just gonna say it. He wants me to watch like Star Wars with him, and I don't want to, and I want him to watch like all the Harry Potter movies, and he thinks about like Harry Potter the same that I think about Star Wars. He's like, oh, there's too many of them, and they're boring and not good. I'm like, oh my god.
I'm offended.
I know they're
Has he
so
never
good.
seen them?
He's seen a couple of them, but only like the like first and second one, I think. And he probably wasn't even like paying attention for them.
Yeah, Matt's kind of the same way. He says that he's seen them all, but it's been so long. I've tried like 4 different times to watch all of them with him. So we'll start and we only ever get to Goblet of Fire.
Really?
So he's rewatched the first 4 movies like a million times now.
I want to rewatch them now that we're talking about it.
I know. I might do that when I get home.
I know. I was just thinking, I just found some pajamas at Goodwill too that are like the Disney World Harry Potter pajamas, and they're so comfy. I got them, and I was like, well, now we need to rewatch all of them.
And then there's also Kit Kat with a hyphen. So some remember a hyphen between Kit Kat, but in reality, there is no hyphen.
Yes, there is. There has to be.
I feel like there has to be.
There is. There was.
I just like, you look at it and it just doesn't look right without it.
There was definitely a hyphen.
Yeah. This one always gets me. Fruit of the Loom.
Yeah.
Many recall having a cornucopia behind the fruit. In reality, there's never been a cornucopia. And then I found this one thing on Reddit. There's no solving this. There is no mistaking brown leaves or other things or a cornucopia. The Fruit of the Loom logo used to have this. There's no disputing that. It doesn't even look right without the cornucopia to those who remember it. Why does Fruit of the Loom say it never existed? Who knows? A major disaster happens, and a few leftover people manage to get access to some heavily classified shit, or someone who actually knows what's going on messages to tell us without getting himself hanged by a scarf from a doorknob. Oh my gosh. Until one of those two things happens, just accept that we don't know why this is happening, because we don't. And then they posted a picture of a Fruit of the Loom shirt with the cornucopia.
So then where did that shirt come from?
Yeah, I don't know. They didn't say anything.
There was definitely a cornucopia on it.
Yes,
like 100%.
I think so too. I've seen many like TikToks or just like stuff on the internet where other people showed their old shirts with the cornucopia. But I did see one on Reddit that the shirt was like from the 70s and it didn't have the cornucopia.
That makes no sense.
I know, but I always remember it with the cornucopia. Because it just looks right. I don't.
And I'm pretty sure my dad used to have like underwear that were Fruit of the Loom that had the cornucopia on the logo. Okay.
Well, lights on, I guess. Yeah, I feel like I remember that too. This one I'm not sure about because I was never a big like Pokemon person, but Pikachu's tail. The false memory is that Pikachu had a black tip on his tail, but in reality it's just completely yellow, except for a bit of brown at the base.
I'll have to ask Jake.
Yeah.
So people remember it being black, but it never was?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna ask him that.
And then Mr. Rogers' theme song. The false memory is it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, but in reality, it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. I don't know.
I think it's the.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I've always said. I never really watched Mr. Rogers.
I never really did either, but have you ever seen the movie The Burbs?
No.
With, I don't even remember his name now, but they are watching that show in part of that movie, and it's that part where that song is on, and I swear he's singing It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Now I'm gonna have to pull out that movie too and find that specific part in the movie where they're watching that show on the movie and see if they're saying the or this.
I'll have to ask Matt. He watched a lot of CBS Nope, that's not right. PBS. I watched a lot of
PBS.
PBS as a child. I was like, CBS?
It sounds like a news
Yeah, I
channel.
was gonna say, isn't it CBS?
Is it? I think
I
so.
think so.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. And then We Are the Champions, that song. So the false memory, the Queen song ends with Of the World. But in reality, the studio version doesn't end that way. It just cuts off after We Are the Champions.
What?
So I don't know if that's like something that people added on after the like
I
just when you're
remember it
singing it.
saying that at the end.
Yeah, because I always would sing it that
Yeah,
way.
that makes no sense.
Yeah. This one I have is chartreuse, the color. Many think chartreuse is a reddish pink color, but in reality it's a yellow green.
I've never even heard that word before.
Really?
Chartreuse.
Have you watched Coraline?
Yeah.
There, when she's like showing her the eyes that she can use, she does say,
I
she
have.
says chartreuse in it, and that's all I
Oh,
remember.
really? Yeah, I've never heard that
But
word for a color.
I always thought of it as like a red, but then I later found out that it was like a yellow green. So possible explanations. The Mandela effect can be interpreted through both scientific and speculative lenses. Memory psychology, from a neurological perspective, the Mandela effect is often attributed to confabulation. I feel like I've never heard that word before. A phenomenon where the brain fills in gaps in memory with fabricated or distorted information. Human memory is not a perfect recording. It's more like a puzzle constantly being reassembled. Over time, memories become vulnerable to influences, suggestions, and cultural reinforcement. Alternative realities theory. A more fringe theory suggests that these memories are not wrong, but rather evidence that people are remembering events from an alternative timeline. This idea suggests that we may have slipped into a slightly different universe, one where certain historical or cultural facts diverge from what we once knew. While there's no scientific proof to back up the multiverse idea, it has become a popular explanation among believers thanks in part to science fiction, quantum theory, and internet speculation. And then there's fringe and spooky theories. So, parallel universes slash alternative realities. Some believe the Mandela Effect is proof we're slipping between alternative timelines where events played out differently. This theory suggests reality is not fixed and we are experiencing glitches like in the Matrix. So it ties in
Yeah, it
our
does.
topics. Quantum immortality, a fringe concept suggesting consciousness might shift realities instead of dying, resulting in timeline confusion.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Well, or the alternate reality.
Yeah. Like we're.
Because how can that many people misremember the same thing?
Yeah.
Like, there's one thing or the other thing, and everybody remembers one of the two. It's not
Yeah.
like there's a bunch of different things people are remembering. So that, I don't know, that's so weird.
And then CERN and the Hadron Collider. Conspiracy theorists believe experiments at CERN may have disrupted reality, subtly shifting us into a new dimension. I don't really know what that is, but
I think that CERN did like experiments on kids like in the 80s and early 90s to see if they were like psychic, and they like took kids out of like their classrooms and everything, like certain kids, and did like testing on them, but I
oh
don't know
my.
exactly what they did. I need to there's like a whole rabbit hole just on that, but
Yeah, that's crazy.
because people like talk about it all the time on this like Matrix page I'm on, and say like, I think CERN did something when they were doing all these experiments in the 90s.
Oh my goodness, I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna have to
wanna.
look into it.
There's a lot. That's why I haven't like looked into it yet, because it's like confusing too. But
Oh, yeah.
there's like a ton of crazy stuff I've seen about it.
Oh, sounds exciting.
Maybe we'll have to do an episode on
Yeah, I
just
was
that.
just thinking that. Why do so many people share the same false memories? There are a few social and cognitive reasons why the Mandela effect spread so widely. Cultural reinforcement. Once a false memory is repeated enough times through media, memes, or conversations, it begins to feel familiar even if it's inaccurate. Misinformation echo chambers. Social media creates an environment where false memories can be rapidly shared and reinforced without fact checking, which that is true.
Mm-hmm.
But it's even if somebody says something on the internet and they're like, this is true, it could be false. But if everyone's remembering it that way,
yeah,
I don't know, it's different than saying like this is the truth, this is how it is. If you're remembering it like a completely different way and there's multiple people who also remember it a completely different way.
and it's weird that like Fruit of the Loom was like, nope, it's never been like that. Like it
Yeah.
would be one thing if they were like, well, it changed and it used to be like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like all of the Mandela effects I see, all of the companies are like, no, it's never been like
Yeah.
this.
And that's the thing too about the Fruit of the Loom one specifically. I have seen so many videos of
And
people who are
yeah,
like,
like,
I have this my dad's old shirt from
mm-hmm.
whenever.
I need to see if my dad has any old clothes with that logo
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah, I'd have to see. Maybe my stepdad does. Or my grandma. That seems like something
Yeah.
she'd have.
Yeah, I should ask my grandpa too.
So, final thoughts. The Mandela effect blurs the lines between simple misremembering and something stranger, something almost supernatural. Whether it's just a psychological quirk or a cosmic glitch, it makes us question the reliability of our own minds and even the nature of reality itself. If nothing else, the Mandela effect is a reminder of just how strange and flexible memory can be, and maybe, just maybe, it's proof that we know a version of the world that no longer exists.
I just want to know. Like I need to know
I know, like,
100% like what it is.
yeah.
I just hate like not knowing, but I like theorizing like different
Mm-hmm.
things and like looking stuff up about it. I could like look stuff up about Mandela effects like all night.
Oh, yeah.
Like when I first learned about them, I seriously that's like all I looked up was like different Mandela effects and like why people remember different things and like the quantum immortality thing.
Yeah.
I like kind of get, but it still just confuses me. Like it's basically saying like if you die, like there's different paths that would happen. Like there's one where you die and one where you don't die.
Yeah.
So your subconscious could shift into the timeline where you didn't die, but then everything is slightly different in that timeline than it was in your old one.
Yeah.
And like the thing I saw said like it's like if you're looking at a bunch of channels on your TV and um you're and the same show is on each channel but they're at slightly different times, it's not enough to like notice a big difference, but it's enough to notice like something's different and shifted.
Yeah.
But it's just weird that like people remembering the same thing. Like you
Yeah.
would think you would remember like a whole different thing, but I guess that thing is just from like this timeline and then a different timeline has a different one, but it's just I don't know. It's like crazy to think about.
Yeah. And it's weird that only some people would have, like, slipped timelines
Mhm.
and some didn't.
I know. I feel like everybody cuz you don't have to like die for that to happen. Like
Mm.
well, I don't even know if it can happen, but they say that different things like big events or some like traumatic things that happen to you or like near death experiences or like really big changes can like make you shift. So I feel like everybody would shift
Yeah.
like no matter who they are.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like it's all a
I
simulation.
honestly
Like I feel
feels
like
like
it
it.
has to be.
It yeah. This can't be real life.
I know. Like,
I'm just in a game of Sims.
that's literally how I feel. But I just like need to know
Yeah.
like what is
What?
going on.
Just tell me the cheat code to life.
Yeah. And like why do they have to be like, nope, it was never like that? Like, yeah, it was.
Yes. Like, why am I remembering it that way then? And why do thousands of other people remember it that way?
I know, right before you got here too, I was talking to Jake and I was like, what did the guy, the guy with like the messed up hand in Scary Movie.
I saw.
Like what does he say when the guy is falling and he tells him to grab his hand.
Yeah.
He says, "Take my strong hand."
Yeah.
But he never says that in the clips that you look up.
Yeah, I know. That's one of the things I saw too.
Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
And
so
me
then
and
why is it like memed?
I know.
And
me and my friend watched that movie all the time when we were younger, and we always said that, like, to
yeah.
each other. Like, we always said, like, "Take my strong hand."
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense. It, like, makes my brain hurt
And I
thinking
feel
about
like
it.
and maybe this was another movie. No, because I feel like it was that movie, and then they like look at the hand and they're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Or
So that part was, like, a part where he's, like, making food in the kitchen,
like the
and he's
mashed
like, "My
potato.
germs." Yeah, that part.
Okay.
But, like, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. Like, he doesn't
Yeah.
even say, like, Jake looked up the video of it when we were down there, and he doesn't say, like, anything about his strong hand, like, when the guy is falling. It
What the
just does
heck?
not make sense.
That is so weird.
And if it is, like, different timelines, like, why is that even different anyway in the other timelines?
Yeah.
Like, why is that, like, significant? Like, the mirror thing, like, why does that need to be different?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
So I have a bunch of glitch in the matrix stories. So these are I'm on a page on Facebook just called I think it's just called glitch in the matrix,
Mhm.
and people just post like weird stuff that happens to them.
Yeah.
So some of the stories are from that, and then some of the other ones are Reddit stories. So, a glitch in the Matrix refers to an odd, inexplicable event that feels like reality has briefly malfunctioned, like a bug in a simulation. The term comes from the 1999 movie The Matrix, where deja vu is explained as a sign the simulated world, the Matrix, is being altered. Since then, the phrase has become a popular way to describe uncanny coincidences, time loops, or missing time, duplicated people or objects, reality not behaving how it should. Real life examples people call a glitch in the matrix are like seeing the same stranger in multiple cities in a short time span, putting your keys down, searching everywhere, then finding them exactly where you thought you left them, hearing someone say something only for them to insist they never said it. Have you had like any
That one specifically.
the hearing someone say something?
Yes.
Me too.
But I don't know if it's a lot of the time with Matt, and I don't know. I'll be like, "You said this," and he'd be like, "I didn't. I would not say that." Or I guess same thing for him though. He'll be like, "You definitely said that." I'm like, "Why would I?
Yeah.
Why would I have said that?"
Yeah. It's so weird.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
And then also like putting something one place and then finding it in another. That happens. I feel like a lot too.
That happens all the time to me, I feel like. Like one time Odin lost his iPad and it was missing for like I feel like it was missing for like a couple months, and we literally looked everywhere. Like we took all the couch cushions off the couch, moved the couch, looked under our bed, like under every possible place. And I thought it must have got like left somewhere, like if he brought it somewhere and forgot it.
Yeah.
And then I don't even remember how long it actually was. I need to ask Jake. I think it was like 2 months or something. And then I got home one day and it was literally sitting like on our carpet right next to the couch, like on the floor, like sticking out from under the couch.
Oh yeah, you would not have missed that.
No, and we like pushed the couch away. I was like on the ground looking under the couch with my flashlight, took all the cushions off, and it was literally just sitting there like it was like someone put it there like they wanted me to see it, but it was still like hidden.
Yeah.
Like it was like partially under the couch, but there's no way it could have been under there.
That's so. I had a similar experience, but with my cat, and this could just be not
Cats,
the same thing.
I think cats can literally go into different dimensions. I'm not even kidding.
Swear. So when we first moved into our house, I couldn't find my cat anywhere, and I was like freaking out. I looked literally everywhere, under the bed, in the closets, between every piece of clothing, in the cupboards. Like I was looking everywhere. I looked under the couch multiple times.
Yeah.
And I was like freaking out, crying because I thought he got out or something. And I made Matt come home, And literally, I'm looking under the couch again as Matt's walking through the door, and there he is, right under the couch. I was like, you were not there.
Do you know how many times that's happened with Louis, like at our house?
Oh,
I swear, and a bunch of people believe that like cats are like multi-dimensional and that they can slip in and out of like different dimensions. I seriously believe that that's true.
oh my gosh, do you think like that one day when you heard the noise of Louis jumping
Oh my
down,
god.
he did,
Oh
but then
my
he just like appeared in your
god.
bed?
Like he just got back from somewhere and was
Yeah.
coming into our bed. Oh my god. That's gonna like keep me up all night now. But I've done the same thing like so many we've spent like 2 hours before like looking in the house for him like everywhere, and like I still don't understand where he could have possibly even been.
Yeah.
And then he'll just come like walking down the hallway like out, and I never see where he like was. I
Yeah.
just see him like walking like in the middle of the room.
I feel like that happens too. Like, I'll I swear, no animals around. I'm like, I don't know, looking at the fridge or something, and I turn around, cat right behind me,
Yeah,
and I'm like, how did you get there
I
so
know.
quickly?
They have to be like multi-dimensional.
Something's up with them.
Oh, I wish I could talk to him. I
I
wish he could
know.
talk back to me.
I would love that.
I feel like that's true though, like about them being multidimensional, like because so many people have said the same thing about like looking for their cat and they're missing. Some people, I read some stuff about people saying their cat was missing for like days and then they come like walking back like out of the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like they just like reappear back in their house.
It's crazy. I just
And
don't get it.
and when we've been looking for him too, like I've been walking around my house with his food dish, like shaking his food dish,
Yeah.
and he hasn't come. And he literally, the second he even sees me walking towards the door that, like the cupboard thing that his food is in, like no matter where he is, like he jumps up and runs over to it.
Yeah.
So I know that he would come out if he heard his food. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's how my cat is too. Like,
Yeah.
if I even walk close to like the cupboard where I keep their food, she's like,
Yeah,
and
that's
I'm
how
like,
he
calm
is too.
down.
I wish we could just follow them and just
I
see where they
know.
go.
What are you doing throughout the day?
I know.
It was so weird today. This really isn't that, it's not that crazy. But my cats, I feel like, are never, I mean, they're together. They cuddle a lot. But they were walking from the dining room into my living room at the same time, side by side, like same steps. It was
That's
so weird.
weird.
I was like, I've never seen you guys like walk
Yeah,
right next to each other like that. It was just really weird.
that would like creep me out.
It was kind of creepy. I was like, they like had intention or something. Like they were
Yeah,
doing something weird.
I know. I don't know. There's just something about cats. Like even when I just sit and like look at him, like I feel like he like can read my mind and
Mm-hmm.
like he knows
Yeah.
things. Like just the way he looks at me, I feel like he just knows things. Like
Yeah.
it's just weird.
It's weird too. I think I've told you this. Like my one cat, the one who's obsessed with food, she will she knows exactly when it's time to eat,
Mm-hmm.
both times dinner and breakfast. And if we don't get up in the morning, she'll do everything to like wake us up. She'll like knock my glasses
That's
on the
what Louis
floor,
does too.
chew on things, like
Mm-hmm.
do anything to get us out of bed. And it's
Yeah,
like so weird that they like know
I
to
know.
do something like
Time.
that.
Yeah, I know. Like how do they know?
How do yeah, and especially with like the time change.
Yeah, like how do they know what time it is and how do they know, oh, I should do this and get their attention?
Yeah.
Like my dogs would never be
No.
smart enough to do
No.
any of that.
Not at
They
all.
would literally like starve to death.
Same.
So, I don't have any cat matrix
I was
stories,
gonna say
but
now that we just rambled about cats forever.
so these are a few from Reddit. So this one is from Desk Jockey 26 and this is like 13 years ago. But they said, my dad used to get up around 3 a.m. every morning for work. Starting at a very early age, I would wake up on my own and wander downstairs to see him before he left. One morning, when I was about 4 years old, I made it to the bottom of the stairs and noticed that the front door was ajar. I opened it up and saw my father in his favorite work shirt making his way down the driveway to his truck in his typical work outfit, plaid shirt and dickies. I swung the door wide open and yelled for him to come back for a hug before he left. He slowly turned around and just stared at me and started walking back towards the house. He was looking so strangely at me that it started to scare me, and I began crying and asking what was wrong. Just as he had almost reached me, a pair of arms encircled me from behind in a bear hug. I turned my head to see my understandably freaked out father staring at his doppelganger in the same outfit. The double took one look at my dad and ran down the driveway. Meanwhile, Meanwhile, my dad yanked me in the house and locked the door. Weirdest morning ever. Never did quite figure that one out. I would not trust my 4-year-old memory of the event if it wasn't also witnessed by my father. He won't really talk about it these days, but my mom has since told me that he called out of work and she spent the day reassuring him he wasn't a nutcase.
I did not expect it to go that way. I expected the dad to just like hug him and be like, "Okay, see you later," and then like him to turn back and that other version be gone. I did
Mm-hmm.
not expect the dad to
I
see it
know.
too, and then for it to just
I
run away.
know. Run. Like it knew,
Oh,
like, oh shoot, like you shouldn't have seen me.
yeah. Oh, been caught.
That's like my biggest fear is like doppelgangers and like mimics. Like
Mm-hmm.
that gives me full
I
body.
literally feel. I don't actually have chills, but I feel like, ugh, like
And imagine being
gross
that
me out.
kid. Like imagine
Yeah,
seeing that as a kid. I would be terrified
I
for
would
life.
too. Scarred forever.
That's so creepy.
Ugh, that just like made me feel sick.
And like, what was he doing? Like, it's not like he was trying to talk to the kid. The
Yeah,
kid just saw him leaving. So,
yeah.
like, what was
What
the
was the
double
point?
doing?
Also, what would have happened if like that double took the car to work?
Yeah.
What would the dad do? Be like, somebody stole my car, or what would
I don't
happen?
know. Yeah, like, was the double just gonna go work as him? Like, go
Great. I
work.
wish somebody would do that for me.
Like, is it him from another time? Like, the dad from
Yeah,
another, like, a quantum immortality thing?
yeah.
But it's just so, I don't know.
When it's things like that, that's when I expect it to just like disappear. Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
mirage once you like see both of them,
But the dad, like, calling out of work and, like,
being like, what the?
yeah, I would literally be crazy if
Yeah,
that happened.
I.
That's seriously one of my biggest fears is, like, seeing, like, a doppelganger of myself,
It grosses. I
like,
can't
at
even
my
imagine.
house.
Yeah, I can't even
Ugh,
imagine seeing somebody who looks very similar to
like, in
me.
public.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. Like, it's just so unsettling.
because like I've seen those YouTube videos where they like find somebody who looks like
Mm-hmm.
identical to each other.
Mm-hmm.
That would freak me out.
Me
But to
too.
like have somebody who's like your exact and they're trying like they're being you.
Mm-hmm. I
Mm-mm.
know. Like, what was it trying to take his place? Or
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just so creepy to think
yeah.
about. And then it just makes me think, like, well, then all of us probably have a doppelganger that's like that too. Like, what
Mm-hmm.
if they're just in a different timeline, like doing crazy stuff or
Just
something?
you're like your evil twin, but you're
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah,
just
like the
different in a
movie
different timeline.
Us with like the evil doppelganger
Yeah.
family. Like, that's so creepy and
Ugh.
gross.
Yuck. I just can't get over that. It just ran away.
I know.
Where did it
The
go?
running away is like the
Yeah.
scariest part of it.
I guess
Like,
better away than towards you, but
mm-hmm.
still.
But still, then it's like they know that you saw them and you
Mm-hmm.
weren't supposed to see them.
And that just seems like a bad situation.
Mm-hmm. I know I want like stuff to happen where it's like a glitch, but then also I'm scared.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want that
I
type
wouldn't
of
want
glitch.
that to happen. But,
Yeah. Mm.
well, this is another one. This one is by Disturbed Serenity. So this one's 2 years ago. I instantaneously transported to my old home in a very specific location for no real reason. So they said, this was the weirdest experience I've had to date, and I still get choked up and emotional when I think about it. It was 2010, and I was 25 years old, living at home with my very supportive parents who were helping me through college after previously dropping out of high school and having two amazing children. It was an early autumn afternoon around 4 or 5 p.m. I was in my room doing some homework on my laptop at my desk. The desk faced the wall directly across from my bed, and my older style box TV was on top of my dresser to the left of my desk, about 2 feet away. I was, as usual, procrastinating doing my homework, so I was mindlessly watching some dumb TV show. Because my TV was so close, I stood up instead of using the remote to change the volume on my TV. As I reached out my left hand to press the button, it was as if a switch flipped. My entire environment changed. This affects me still to this day. I still feel it in my soul. Something strange happened. I didn't hallucinate, it was real. I was back in my childhood home, 20 miles away, seemingly 18 years in the past. So they would have been 7.
Oh.
I was standing in front of the only hallway closet in the 1 bedroom house that I grew up in. The house was over 100 years old, and the closet was one of those with the doors that slides open on tracks. You know, the one that the doors never go back on the tracks, right? So you have to be careful how you open it. That's how my one of my closet doors has that. Anyway, the door to the closet was open, and my already outstretched left arm was reaching towards a very distinct item. When I was little, my mother had this perfume bottle that for some reason I was absolutely in love with. The perfume itself was cheap and didn't smell particularly good to me. The bottle was glass and shaped like a bird, maybe a dove. Its wings were up and outstretched. It was beautiful, but it had a broken wing. I probably broke it, being the curious and clumsy child that I was. So there I was, one moment in my somewhat modern bedroom in 2010, the next in the old 1 bedroom hallway across the county, back in time 18 years. I was there, I saw the bird bottle, I was within inches of grabbing it. My heart melted for that dumb little bottle of stinky perfume shaped like a one-winged dove. Before my hand could actually make physical contact with that precious bird, the switch flipped again. I was back in front of my TV, outstretched left hand and all. My mind could not comprehend what had just happened, and I felt immediately sick and dizzy. I was in such a state of shock and confusion that I just walked out of my room, down the hall, into the living room, and out into the front yard. I could do nothing but lurch over, hands on my knees, and try to desperately catch my breath, but mostly my sanity. This experience was so jarring, so real. I was physically in front of that open closet reaching for that damn bottle, then I wasn't. I wasn't particularly stressed about classes. It was community college. I'm not prone to hallucinations and was stone cold sober when this experience happened. I've only told a few people because honestly, the subject of momentarily teleporting through time and space doesn't come up in conversation often, and I only know a few people that I can tell.
That's scary.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about an old box TV.
Mm-hmm.
They're just so
I
staticky.
know. I know, we have one in our bedroom too, because Jake likes playing his video games and watching like VHS tapes. It's like one with the VHS and
Player in it.
DVD like thing built into it,
Oh.
but it does have like the staticky stuff, and it's just, I don't know. I've like opened GhostTube at my house, and whenever I have that TV on, it always says like cable. And I don't know if it's talking about like cable TV, but
Yeah.
like it's always like when I turn that TV on, it always says like cable.
That's so weird.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, maybe she just like got sucked into a memory and
Yeah. But it's just weird if she wasn't even thinking about it or
yeah, and it
anything.
just like a random point in time.
Mhm. And
That
like
is
going out into your yard after and like
just
needing to
like,
catch your breath, like
yeah.
I feel like that seems very real.
Yeah, like feeling physically sick afterwards. That,
Mhm. And being like 18 years younger, like you felt like you were like a kid again in your
yeah.
old home, like that's so weird. I've seen a lot of stories like that though about like childhood stuff, like feeling like you're a child again or like past memories. So I wonder if like something traumatic happened there or something. I don't
Yeah, around
know.
that time and it just
Mhm. I don't
surged
know.
back to her. I don't, that's wild. Ugh, wish I could have that happen to me. I
I
mean, it sounds
know.
scary, but like, that would be kind of,
It would be cool to
yeah.
like experience it or something. I don't know. I feel like all these stories are so crazy, and then it's like,
Mm-hmm.
why don't I ever experience anything like that.
Yeah.
But it would probably be scary.
Yeah, but just to be a child again, even for a slight moment, just the carefreeness.
I know. Yeah,
Ugh.
I miss that.
Me too. Me too.
And then this is also 13. So a lot of these are 13 years ago. Like the next like 4 of them are 13 years ago. So this is Sarah X11. But I think this is a guy writing it. This will probably get buried. When I was around 20 a few years ago, I kept having dreams about a woman with long black hair named Aurora. They were different dreams, but for some reason, her distinct face and name always ended up in them. It got to the point where I would wake up frustrated and confused, trying to Google her name or find out how I was connected to her. After a few months, she stopped showing up and I dismissed it, thinking my brain was just being a scumbag. Fast forward a few years later, Halloween 2009, I'm in the car with a friend stopped at a gas station. I'm about to pull out and merge onto a highway when I get a phone call from a random number. So I stopped the car, but no one answered. There was a person behind me who grew impatient, honked at me, and then swerved in front of me instead of waiting 2 seconds for me to move. Second they get on the highway, some silver Civic loses control of their wheel and crashes into the car that swerved in front of me. I called the cops and waited at the gas station for them to come. Turns out the drivers of both cars died. It 100% would have been me if I hadn't got that phone call. Called it back a few hours later out of gratitude and curiosity, rang 3 times and went to voicemail. Hi, you've reached Aurora. Please leave your name and number. Never had goosebumps like that in my life.
Oh my gosh.
Called it again the next day because I was that confused about the whole situation. Some woman answers, we get to talking. I tell her my entire story, including the dreams I had. She tells me she doesn't know how I got her number and that she never called me as far as she remembers. Weird. Ask her if she has a Facebook to confirm if she is in fact the woman in my dreams. Check her Facebook. Holy fuck, it's her. If that's not a glitch in the Matrix, then I'm just batshit crazy.
That's crazy.
And like, who is this person?
Yeah, how does that even...
Like,
that seems like a timeline slip type of thing.
Mm-hmm. But it's like, how are they connected?
Yeah.
Because her being like, oh, I didn't call you, like, I don't know you. But then at first when I read it, I was like, is he even talking to a real person? Or is it like whoever was protecting him?
Yeah.
Like, it's not even an actual person. But if you looked her up on Facebook and looks like the girl from the dreams, that would like send me into like a spiral.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't even know how I would handle that.
I know, and I was looking through all the comments after that, and everybody was like, okay, so did you keep talking to her? Did you keep in contact with her? Did you ask more questions? Like, and he didn't reply to like any comments, so I don't know what happened after that, but I like need to know.
Yeah, I hate when people don't update.
I know, it's so crazy though, because that was let me see. So it was like years after he first started having the dreams is when that happened.
I don't even know how you would financially recover after that.
No. Like,
mentally recover.
Yeah. I just want to know how they're connected. Because obviously, if she is a real person, like, why would she be the one, like, calling him?
Yeah, and supposedly your brain you don't see people in your dreams that you've never seen before.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's all people, even if it's a stranger that you saw, like,
on the street. Yeah.
That's crazy. I just need to know more. That's the only thing I don't like about, like, the Matrix, like, glitches and stuff is, like, I need to know why this happened.
Yeah.
Like, I need to know, are they, like, together in a different timeline? Like, and that's why she is, like, protecting him?
When I die, those are going to be my questions. That and who killed John Benet Ramsey?
Oh my god. I don't think we're ever gonna find that out. I think it was her stepbrother.
Yeah. That's definitely... yeah. I've heard... there was another theory too that I heard recently. I can't remember what it was. but I believed it, and now I can't remember, so it doesn't really matter, I guess.
So this is also 13 years ago. And this person's username is Kill All Extremists. I've relayed this story before, but here it goes. The Parallel Universe Answering Machine. This happened about 15 years ago. So now, like, almost 30 years ago.
Gosh.
I called my friend up and he wasn't home, so I left a message on his answering machine. I said, "Hey, it's me. Sorry I missed you. Call you later. Bye." And then I hung up and left the house. I made no other calls. Later that day, he called back and said, "Wow, that was quite a message you left. Who was that girl you were talking to?" I was like, "What are you talking about? I wasn't talking to any girl." Well, as it turns out, the message didn't end after I said bye. I had to go over to his house and listen to this message a few times. After my initial message that I did leave, there was a slight pause, and it continues on for another 30 to 40 seconds or so with me talking to some girl. It was my voice, but a conversation I never had with a girl whose voice I didn't recognize. You could compare it to the message I know I did leave, and the two voices were indistinguishable. Not just the voice, but talking mannerisms. It was my voice. Also, references to my occupation and activities were the same. Basically, in this conversation, I was talking to this girl about going skiing, but I had to go down to my shop and work on a car first, which totally correlated to me. Then the message just stopped. It was recorded on one of those digital answering machines that recorded the message to a chip, so there was no tape I could have taken and had analyzed, unfortunately. Also, neither I nor my friend had party lines, so that's not an explanation. It was very freaky and I can't explain it.
Oh, yeah. That's
That would
creepy.
scare me.
Yeah,
That's
to
like one of the creepiest ones.
Yeah, go back and listen to the voicemail.
Yeah,
and
hear
your
yourself.
voice. Yeah.
And when it's talking about stuff that he would actually be doing too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's such a like insignificant like conversation,
Yeah.
like talking about going skiing.
Yeah, it's
Like
nothing
what's the
like
point?
juicy or anything.
No. It's like they wanted him to like see a glitch or something.
Yeah, that is weird. I was thinking, like, what if it was a conversation between ghosts? But if it's your own voice, I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't know. So, Parrot Tamer, also 13 years ago. At 12 years of age, my mom let me stay in the truck as she went grocery shopping. As I wait, I see an old guy walking towards the truck with an indescribable look at me as if I know too much. He stops 5 feet from the truck, looks at me for a couple seconds, and heads back the exact way he came. It was rather traumatic for some reason and very confusing at that age. 5 to 6 years later, my dad was showing me home videos of us at Yellowstone. At Old Faithful, I noticed the same guy, same look, same clothes, peering at us on camera and at me through the TV. I'm freaked out just telling this. And then he added in that at the time of the Yellowstone video, he was like 1 or 2. So that was like 10 years before he saw him at the grocery store and in the same outfit and same look on his face.
That's weird.
That's scary.
Yeah. I mean, it's like one thing, there could be a chance that you do see the same person, but to end up getting him on film and then wearing the same outfit.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm guessing he looked the same age if he knew it was the same guy. So is it like a time traveler? A bunch of the comments were saying that's you from the future. Like that's your future self.
Imagine that he thinks that he's like super ugly or he's like
I know,
bald and fat or something, and then you're like, that's what I look like in the future.
I know, that's what I was thinking too. Because he probably looked like creepy.
Yeah.
But also, like, if it is him from the future, like, that would make sense if he's, like, keeps appearing at different points of his, like, maybe he's going back and,
like, just reliving some things. But, I don't know, I feel like if I went back and I saw myself at a grocery store, I wouldn't glare at myself.
Yeah, and then, like, well, I guess I was gonna say I wouldn't walk away, but I guess I would if my younger self noticed my future self. I'd be like, oh, that's not, can't see me.
I'd probably look at myself and be like, oh,
I know.
what a good time.
And this is also 13 years ago. Why are all of these like 13 years ago?
Creepy stuff happened 13 years ago.
What was 13 years ago? 2012?
That's when the world was supposed to end.
And that's when everybody says something shifted. And
yeah.
Oh, this is
creepy.
Okay, so this is a deleted account, but they said, and this one is creepy. This one creeped me out.
Oh.
My little sister, call her Susie, and I were exploring our cottage a few years ago and came across a pair of walkie-talkies. Now, this in itself wasn't unusual. It's an isolated, sprawling place shared by many friends and family who often leave things behind as they come and go. We ran around at night trying them out and find out there's about a 10 to 20 meter cutoff range. We were fooling around and eventually we were on opposite sides of the house when something like the following exchange goes down. Me. Breaker, breaker, come in. This is Thundercat. Over. Susie, giggling. This is Dragon 7. We are closing in on your location. Over. Me. Negative. You'll never catch me. Thundercat out. Susie, giggling. Who is this? Me. This is Thundercat. Come on, Poopsmith. Susie, giggling. No, who is this? At this point, I walk into the next room and see Susie looking through a bookshelf, walkie-talkie on the floor. She says hello to me, and the giggling is still coming through the walkie-talkie. I look at her, I look at the walkie-talkie and ask, wait, who is this? The giggling stops on the other end of the line. There's nothing but dead air. The next house is a couple of kilometers away, and there's nothing but woods and a spooky cave around us. Susie says she got bored of the walkie-talkie a while ago and denies any part in the goofy codename conversation. We search the place top to bottom and find no one and nothing that could have been making the call. We try the walkie-talkie a few more times, but are never able to reach our ghost girl again. I still accuse her of having been the voice on the other end of the line once in a while, but deep down I know that when I told her what happened, she showed real fear. And then what makes it even creepier is somebody replied to it and said, what if the girl on the walkie-talkie was your sister Susie, and the Susie that followed you home was not your sister?
Oh, yeah.
Either way, like, walkie-talkies, that just creeps me out.
Yeah. I mean, at first I was thinking like it could be similar to a like baby monitor situation where they can like connect to like other baby monitors or other things like that or get hacked, but that was a long time ago. But
like her sister's voice, like giggling too.
And if they're like so far away from anybody else, then you're definitely not.
And like hearing the giggling still when you walk in and see her, that would scare me so bad. I feel like walkie-talkies and baby monitors like creep me out for that reason. Like anybody can just come through it. I've seen like so many creepy baby monitor videos of like creepy like people's voices and stuff, like talking to their baby.
Yeah, the baby monitor that I have is like it doesn't connect to your Wi-Fi, so it can't be hacked into. But I don't use it right now because I don't need to. But I was thinking about that. I'm like, oh, what if I set it up and I hear creepy stuff coming from the room?
I know. I had one for Odin, and then he like slept in my bed with me every night, so I never ended up using it. But I also didn't want to use it because of that.
Yeah,
that's so creepy. Like, what would you even do?
I would make Matt get up, but and then I'd probably cry.
But it's just so creepy. Like, who is it? Like, who are these weird people saying things through like baby monitors? I've seen so many like scary like videos on TikTok like that.
Yeah,
being like, oh, I was in my bed and heard someone talking to my baby.
I've heard a lot of stories too of like ghost encounters, like hearing somebody like shushing the baby or like singing or, like, to them
to sleep, like humming,
or like you see something in it. Oh,
like you see someone like patting them or like leaning over their crib. That would literally freak me out so bad.
I'd have to move. I would burn my home down.
Yeah, that's like literally why I didn't use that baby monitor I had, is because I was like paranoid about that happening. It's just so unsettling.
It's so unsettling, so creepy. I just can't.
And why do spirits like babies so much?
Yeah, I think it's because they can.
They're easy to like
Manipulate.
Oh, that's ugh.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like it.
Yeah, you should like I don't know, like pay attention to any weird things that Juniper does, like if she's looking up at like
she did do that
like
last night. She was like looking at me and then she like looked over my shoulder, but it was like the window. Well, the blinds were closed, so she wasn't like looking at a reflection, but I was like, there's nothing that could be that close behind me, right? But you never know. I'm just hoping not.
Yeah, my grandma died before Odin was born, and then my mom has like a picture of her up in her shop, like where she does hair at her house. And when he was a baby, like we would hold him, and if we were in there, he would like stare. Like it was a picture of her and my grandpa, who's still alive, but they were both like young in it.
Yeah.
And he would just stare at like her, and he would like start laughing and smiling and like reach his hand out, and he's like never seen her, and she like it's not like she was old in it, she was like young, like in her 20s in that picture. But I just feel like that's what she looks like as a spirit, and that he like saw her and recognized her or something.
Oh, that's cute, but yeah, terrifying. Yeah, because at least he's not looking at it and scared.
No, I know. Like my mom would hold him in there, and he would be like fussing or crying or something, and he would just like stop crying and like start like giggling, like looking at her. It was so weird.
My friend's kids, one of her daughters sleepwalks. That's my biggest fear. Having a child that sleepwalks.
That's so creepy.
I just can't imagine. Like, I imagine they are gonna wake up and the child's like right here next to you, standing next to your bed.
Odin has done that. Like I've woken up so many times when Odin was like younger, and he's just been like staring at me.
I feel like I'd accidentally punch my child.
I like almost did. He used to do that all the time, and it would always be like in the middle of the night too. Like he wouldn't like try to wake me up either. I would like wake up and he'd just be there waiting for me to wake up, like looking at me.
I was just thinking, I wonder if that's like, you know, the like joke of moms when you try to wake them up and they're like, maybe they are just startled.
I know.
Because my mom always did that.
I know, my mom did too. I woke my mom up all the time because I was always scared of like everything, and I'd like go like that and like try to wake her.
Mom.
I literally did that like every night. I'd be like, I'm scared.
Okay, yes, and then imagine waking up to your child and you're like, I'm scared. It's a child voice whispering that to you.
My God. That's so funny.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna do that to Matt.
That's what you have to look forward to.
Yay.
And it's even creepier when they're like little, like this tall.
Yeah.
Like they're like little Chuckies, like walking around.
And she already has like kind of orange hair too.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. That's fine. I'll just cry.
Just ignore it.
Yeah. I'll just keep my eyes closed, and then hopefully she'll go to Matt's side.
Yeah. These last three are from the Matrix Mysteries page. That's what the page is called, not Glitch in the Matrix. It's called Matrix Mysteries. And people just post weird things that happen to them. So these last ones are from that page. This one, I'm not gonna like say the names of the people who posted them, but she posted this 2 hours ago.
Oh.
So she said, years ago, my brother Michael worked at a local restaurant with an older woman named Maddie. Maddie and my brother became very close friends, and Michael thought of her as another grandma. After my brother graduated high school, he moved, but every time he came home, he made sure to stop and see Maddie. Fast forward about 10 to 12 years, I saw on Facebook that Maddie had passed away. I called my brother to tell him, and he said he knew she hadn't been doing well and would try to make it back for her funeral. Something came up with work and he wasn't able to make it back. A few years later, my mom was talking about how Maddie's family was going to throw her an 80th birthday party. I had a puzzled look on my face, but said, "That's nice that they're still going to celebrate her." My mom looked at me and said, "Why wouldn't they?" I said, "Mom, Maddie passed away like 3 years ago. I remember perfectly because I even called Michael to tell him. She died from dementia." My mom questioned me, asking if I was feeling okay. I said, "Yeah, are you feeling okay?" She said, "Hannah, I just saw a picture of Maddie alive and well on Facebook." I said, "That's not possible. I'm sure they posted an older picture of her." I looked at the picture and said, "Yeah, see? That's the picture they used for her obituary. That's not recent." I went through the comments and realized it was a brand new picture of her. I don't know what emotions I felt in that moment, but I was freaking out. I felt like I had been switched into an entirely different world or had gone completely crazy because I knew for a fact this woman had passed away. I called my brother, and he had no recollection of our conversation a few years prior about her death. I tried searching all over Facebook to find something, anything that would make me feel and look less crazy. There was nothing. Fast forward to present time. I went to post this on here a few weeks ago and it was approved, but the post was never really posted. I looked all over and even searched my name to find it. No post had been made by me. I thought that was odd, but figured, oh well. I decided to do some digging to see if Maddie was still alive, and she is. However, she is dying from dementia. Exactly what I remember her dying from.
Oh my
And
gosh.
the first comment I saw on it said, "And I bet they're gonna use that picture for her
That's what
obituary
I was just
picture."
thinking. Like she saw into the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, was that like a premonition, or like, did she
Yeah.
switch timelines? But she said that was like years ago.
Yeah.
So that's seems like it's a long time in advance to like,
To know.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be even worse to be like, yeah, that's the picture that they used.
Yeah.
But it was a brand new picture.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
And obviously, like, her brother was the one that like was closer with her, so it's not like she must have seen like the obituary,
Yeah.
like,
She's not keeping tabs on her.
yeah. It's so creepy.
If, and the fact that he was like, I have no idea what you're talking
I
about.
know. That's how like a lot of these Matrix stories are that I've seen, is that when they realize that like something is off like that, whoever whatever person they talk to is like, "No, I don't remember that. No, you never said that.
Yeah.
This never happened." So
Ugh.
that's what makes me think like she switched timelines.
Yeah.
But I want to know, like, obviously I don't want her to die from dementia, but I want to
Yeah.
know if they're going to use that picture of her as
Yeah.
her obituary, and like, I don't know. It's just
Maybe she'll
crazy.
post later.
Mhm.
If she does die, when she does die. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, it's weird.
Ugh.
I would feel so crazy if any
Yeah.
of this stuff happened to me, especially if, like, the one person that you were talking to about it was like, "That never happened."
Mm.
Like, I seriously, maybe that's why I haven't had anything like that happen, because I would literally, like, go crazy.
Yeah. Because, like, if it's not something like glitch in the matrix or something, like, why is your brain doing that? Like, why
Right.
is your brain just, like, misremembering something
Yeah.
so completely?
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And to remember that, like, she died from dementia and that's what she's dying from
Yeah.
right now. And then this one was May 14th. They said this happened this past weekend. I was in the kitchen with my kids, and my husband was outside working on his truck. I heard a knock on the garage door leading into the house, and I looked over and saw the door was locked. I naturally assumed it was my husband who was trying to get in. I open the door for him, and he's standing there smiling and holding some tools in his hand. This is where it gets weird. I expected him to walk in or say something, but he just stood there. I was in the middle of doing something, so I said, "Are you coming in?" He didn't answer, and a few seconds had passed, so I shut the door and walked away because I thought he was trying to joke with me. About a minute later, he opens up the door and walks in, so I said to him, "What the hell was that? Why did you just stand there and not say anything or try to come in?" He claims he never knocked, never stood at the door with tools in his hand. I told him to stop kidding around and that he was scaring me, but he swears he never knocked and stood there smiling in the doorway like that. I was getting upset and told him that if he was messing with me, it wasn't funny, but again, he swears he didn't knock or come to the door. He thinks I hallucinated, but I'm not so sure. Nothing like that has ever happened before. Could it be a time glitch, a dream, even though it was in the middle of the day and I was up and walking around? Could he have somehow blanked out and then walked over and knocked but didn't remember? Not sure how to explain it, but it's eerie.
Ugh, it's the
I
smiling.
know.
Ugh.
That's what makes me think it's like the first story about the dad. It
Mm-hmm.
makes me feel like it's a doppelganger.
Yeah, like some
Like,
sort of mimic or.
mm-hmm. Like, why stand there and smile and not say anything
Yeah.
like that?
Then holding the
Ugh.
tools too. I'd be like, are you about to like
Yeah.
murder me?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I seriously would be crazy after that.
Yeah.
Or I would think that my husband was like lying to me.
I swear on my life, I just saw something peek around the door frame.
Stop.
I thought like it was Odin or something. It is. It scared the hell out of me.
Oh my god. Right when we were talking about like mimics.
I almost had a heart attack.
I told him not to come in here too.
I thought I heard somebody walking too. And then I saw that out of the
Heard
corner of
him
my
running.
eye. And then, yeah, I say his name, he's like, oh,
I know, he heard you say you saw him. Well,
oh my god, that
I'm
scared
glad
me.
that it was him.
Yeah, me too.
Not one of our dolls or
Oh my
something.
god.
Okay, this is the last one. So they said, I wonder if any one of you has a similar story as mine. This happened to me a few years ago. I was tending my animals outside. Then around 11ish a.m., I saw my husband in his truck, then checking our mail. He was supposed to be at work. My son saw him too, so we were wondering why he was home so early. We live in the country with a huge yard, but we can see the road from the house. We only have a few neighbors out here in the boondocks. We waited on him to come to the driveway, but he never did. I called him on his phone and asked where did he go. He said, "What are you talking about? I'm at work." I said, "I just saw you check the mail." He said he never left work and he's working right now, so I just brushed it off. Months or weeks later, I saw him again in his truck, get out, check the mail, same time, and he was supposed to be at work. This time I made sure if that was really him, so I checked which vehicle he was using and which one was left at the house. I was right. I was so sure that was my husband because he was driving the truck that wasn't here at the house. I called him, but then again, he's at work. I told my husband the next time I see his double, I will run into the driveway and see him and talk to him. My son said, "No, mommy, I don't want daddy's double to take you to the other dimension and lose you here." And up until now, I was baffled on that incident.
Okay, if my child said that, I'd be like, what do you know?
Literally. Like, what do you mean the other dimension? What child knows what a dimension is?
Yeah. Also, I was thinking, like, you know how, like, some hauntings can be like a moment in time that just replays?
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking maybe it was something like that. But then for him to say that,
Mm-hmm.
that seems just weird.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And like the husband is alive.
Yeah.
So they're not
So it's
like
not like
seeing
he's,
like a
yeah.
residual ghost or haunting or anything.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if my kid said, "No, I don't want them to take you to the other dimension," I would literally not be okay.
I'd be like, all right, we're moving somewhere else.
Yeah, that was like something Odin said the other day when he was like, well, I'm 18. And I was like, no, you're 6. And he was like, well, you never know. We could wake up tomorrow and be in a completely different world. And I was like, what? But he said it so weird. Like, the way he said it, like, was just weird. Like, it wasn't like his mannerisms. Like, it didn't, like, even sound like how he says, like, sentences. Like,
Yeah.
it sounded like a different person was, like, talking.
Through him?
Yeah. And I was like, what do you mean we could be in a different world? And he was like, well, you just never know. Like, it might not even, this world might not even be real. Like, everything might just be different when we wake up. That was like probably 2 weeks ago that he said that.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was creepy. Like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it just sounded like the way he was saying it was just weird.
Yeah. I That is true though. What if you just go to sleep and then
Mm-hmm. Go out of here! God. Okay.
oh,
Well,
so creepy.
I think that's enough glitches and creepy doppelganger
Yeah.
stories for the
Oh.
night.
They're too much. They're too spooky.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Even though I'm probably gonna go home and like look up more stuff about like
Yeah.
glitches.
Probably watch some more scary
Mm-hmm.
things. Yeah, that's just too scary for me.
Should we end it?
Yeah. Just making
Okay.
sure I've got the right. Okay. All right. Um, Thanks, girlies and ghoulies, for joining us. Those were some seriously spooky tales.
But hopefully not too scary because we want you to join us again next week when we'll be swapping stories about Independence Day.
Trust me, you don't want to miss it. We're on Patreon for $5 a month. You'll have access to all episodes 1 week early, behind the scenes footage, our live full moon ghost hunts during every full moon of the month, our Haunted Doll segment, Tarot Tuesdays, where we do readings and share ghost stories, and automatic entry into a monthly Girly Ghost Tales giveaway.
So make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and email us your ghost stories and anything paranormal at girlyghosttales@gmail.com. New episodes release every Friday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Until next time, and remember, if you hear a whisper in the dark, it's probably just us.
But just in case, keep your lights on and your doors locked, and remember the veil is always thinner than you think.
Good
Good
night.
night. God. I told him not to come up here.
The heck out of me.
Oh my god, when you said that, like if that wasn't him, I was literally going to flip out.
Yeah. That would have been too much for me.
Peeking.
Yeah, I
Ugh.
literally just saw and then it pulled back and I was like, ooh.
And you know those ghosts that people call like peekers?
Yeah.
That's like what I was thinking when you said that.
Oh. Oh no, okay. I thought it didn't record.
Oh god.
And now my screen's all wonky, so hopefully
I can't believe it's already like 7:15.
I know.